President, please be seated. The court is now back in session, and again the floor is given to the co-prosecutors to put further questions to the witness. You may proceed. Deputy co-prosecutor, thank you, Mr. President. And Madam Witness, I'd like to move on to the next topic, that is about yourself. During the Khmer Rouge regime, were you ever detained? Answer. I was sent to Uncle Ong and detained there for a period of 10 days. Questioned. And did you know at the time the reason for being detained there at the Uncle Ong commune? No, I don't. Question. Did you make any mistake before you were detained? Answer. No, I did not. They simply called me to go. Question. So you did not know the reason for your detention. Am I correct in saying that? Answer. Yes, that is correct. Question. And did you know who actually ordered your detention? Answer. No, I did not. However, the person who took me there was Mon. Question. When you were detained, were you the only person detained or were there other people as well? Answer. I was detained along with my 3 children. Question. Were there any other people? Answer. No, there wasn't. Question. In your document, that is E3/7780 with the Khmer EN 0023 3296, English at 00235512, and French at 00250501. You said that about 5 months later, Mon called me to meet him at Ward Anlung 3, and in that meeting there was Ye Chai and there were 2 other men, and Chai was a charm person and was allowed to leave, while myself and the other 2 men were sent to Ong village. Does that refresh your memory? Answer. Yes, I do. However, in my previous response, I missed that part. In fact, yes, we were called to attend a meeting in the pagoda. Question. When you were detained, were you tied? No, I was not tied. However, the 2 men who were the new people from Phnom Penh were tied. Question. Can you tell the chamber about the Ong village near the Chirkache Mountain. What was that location? Was it a refashioning center or what was it? Answer. No, it was not a refashioning center. It was a temporary detention place. Question. What were you ordered to do while you were there at Ong village? Answer. I was instructed to work in the kitchen, to harvest corn, and to clean the compound as well as the kitchen hall. Question. And when were you allowed to return home? Answer. I was detained there for 10 days. After I was initially questioned, then they let me work in the kitchen. So the total period that I remained there was 12 days. Question. You said you were questioned. Can you tell us a little bit more? Answer. Yes, I can. I was asked whether my father was Khmer or not, and I said he was Khmer. And then I was asked what did he do, and I said he was a villager and he did not do anything else. Question. And did you know why the Khmer rules asked about the ethnicity of your father? Answer. No, I did not. Question. And based on your observation, when you lived through the Khmer Rouge regime, what happened to the Vietnamese people living in your area, or the Khmer people who were half-bred with the Vietnamese? Answer. Based on my observation of those mixed family, a Vietnamese father and a Khmer father who had their child, the Vietnamese father had his child taken and killed. Question. Did you witness it or were you told about that? Answer. In my village, people were taken about the time that I was taken away, and those were from mixed family. However, they were taken later after I had been taken. Question. And can you tell the court where were they taken to? Answer. No, I did not. However, they disappeared and never returned. Question. In your area, did you ever attend any meeting where the Vietnamese people issue was discussed? Answer. No, I did not attend such a meeting. Usually in the meetings they spoke about rice production. Thank you, Madam Witness. I only have one more question to put to you. And I asked what happened to the Vietnamese people in your area after 1975. Could you please clarify that again? Initially, you already said about the Vietnamese people were guarded. Could you please be a bit more specific? And I saw them being guarded and they were evacuated to the lower part. As for those who were from the mixed families, they actually were guarded up continuously and they were sent by boats. So for the mixed family, usually they would be sent one family at a time and they kept disappearing. Question. And when did that happen? When the Vietnamese people were gathered up and sent to the lower part? And what do you mean when you say they were sent to the lower part? Answer. I did not know. I only heard that they were being sent back to Vietnam. Question. So when you said that they were sent to the lower part, it means they were sent to Vietnam. Am I right? Answer. Yes. They were sent to the lower part, and it means that they were sent to Vietnam, although we did not know whether they were sent to be killed somewhere. And later on, another group, including my mother, they were not being sent to Vietnam, but in fact they were sent to be killed. Question. Can you tell the court when did that happen? When the first group who were sent to Vietnam, did it happen immediately after 1975 or did it happen a few years after? President, witness, please observe the microphone. Witness. That happened after the event involving Sao Pum, although I cannot recall the exact year. Question. You refer to the event of Sao Pum, and you, of course, said that that was when your mother was detained. However, what I refer to is about the Vietnamese people who were gathered up and sent to Vietnam. When did that happen? Did it happen immediately after 1975? President, witness, please observe the microphone. And Deputy Co-Prosecutor, please be more specific. When you said that after 1975, are you referring to a particular year? It could be 76 or 75, or it could be immediately after the 17th April 1975. Deputy Co-Prosecutor, thank you, Mr. President, for your guidance. And let me rephrase it. Madam Witness, could you please tell the court when did that happen? Did it happen immediately after 1975, or did it happen in 76 or 77? Answer. After I think about this, I think it started gradually from the time of the war with the Tribunal regime. Deputy Co-Prosecutor, thank you, Mr. President. I conclude my part now, and I'd like to hand the floor to my International Co-Prosecutor. President, International Co-Prosecutor, then you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. President, Your Honors. Madam Witness, I have a few more questions for you. You mentioned Nguyen Nhat, another person from your village. That's someone that you know, is that correct?
Yes, I knew her.
And can you explain, did Nguyen Nhat also come from a mixed family? Was either her father or mother Vietnamese?
mother was Yoon. She was Vietnamese. However, she was adopted by a Khmer family since she was born.
Do you know some persons named Yea Chea and Ta Hang from your village?
No, I did not know that person.
Let me correct what I said. The owners of the house where your mother worked, where the children were taken care of. Did you know them?
The owner of the house who looked after the children, in fact, she looked after the children in the kitchen area, not at her house.
Okay. I want to read to you something from a statement of Nguyen Nhat, and this is E3 7779, and in the English ERN is 0023 5504, in Khmer 0027 1392, in French 0026 8963. Nguyen Nhat said that one day I was studying and my mother was at the new village north of An Lang Tria village. When I left class and was returning to the children's house, the owner of the house, Yea Chea and Ta Hang, whispered to me, "They took away your mother and the mother of the girl named Sak." Madam Witness, do you believe that you are, based upon what you heard, is that referring to you when she refers to Sak?
I do not get your question. Please repeat it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm happy. Anytime you don't understand my questions, it's my fault. I'm happy to repeat and explain. So what I'm reading to you is from an interview of Nguyen Nhat, and I want to get your reaction to that. And if anything you hear is not correct, please explain that to us, if you know of any facts that are different. What Nguyen Nhat said is that one day she was studying and her mother was at the new village north of An Lang Tria. When she left class and was returning to the children's house, the owners of the house, Yea Chea and Ta Hang, whispered to her, and they said to Nguyen Nhat, "They took away your mother and the mother of the girl named Sak." Does that, do you have any reaction to that based upon what you know about what happened to your mother?
June, in fact, June, alias Sa. So it refers to the same person. And the owner of the house where the children stayed was Ji Hong, not Ji Hung. And yes, what you mentioned is correct. Usually she was known as Yun, although Sa was also her name.
Well, just to be clear, what is your name again? What is your name?
My name is Sao Sa.
Now, Ms. Nguyen Nhat went on and told the investigators, that her 7-month-old sibling died from lack of breast milk. That they had told Nguyen Nat's mother that they were taking her to a meeting for a short time, and she did not need to bring her child. Do you know anything about that? Do you know if Nguyen Nat's mother, Yuen, had a young child that she was not allowed to bring with her when they took your mother and her away?
I did not know about that. However, I knew that she had a young baby.
Did you know a woman named Lang who had a husband named Yu?
No, I don't. I do not know that a woman.
Let me just have my colleague do the pronunciations correctly in Khmer.
The two names that my colleague would like you to shed light on are Long and Al.
So, Madam Witness, did you know a Vietnamese woman named Long who had a husband named Ao? And if you don't know, just tell us.
Yes, I know Long. She had a husband in Bad Dauk, but I do not know her husband's name.
Well, in the same statement, Nguyen Nhat says the ethnic Vietnamese woman Long had a husband named Ao. Long and her 6 children were all put in a boat and taken away and killed. At the time, Long was pregnant, too. Do you know anything about that?
Answer: no, I don't.
Thank you. Now, you also mentioned Van Mao. That's a person from your village, is that correct? Van Mao.
I know Wan Mao. He was living close to my village.
And was this a person who had a father who was Vietnamese named Seng Van?
Answer: I don't know the father. I only know Wan Mao.
Did you know that Mao was of mixed ethnicity, Vietnamese and Khmer?
Answer: yes, that is true. A mixed ethnicity, Vietnamese and Khmer.
Mao says, and I'm going to read from another statement, E37761. In Khmer, the ERN is 00225221. In French, 00274400. And in English, it is 0234120. So again, in English, I may have forgotten 10. 00234120. So, Madam Witness, in this statement, Mao says that during the Khmer Rouge regime, my father, Van, and Nak's father, I may need my colleagues' help, but Tao, my father, Van, and Nak's father, Tao, were arrested by the Khmer Rouge, who came by motorboat along the creek and were taken away. And I'm just skipping a few lines in the interest of time. he says, they said that they were taking him to study for 4 or 5 days, and he returned. And then he goes on to say, I heard the news that my 2 elder sisters and my 1 younger brother had been arrested and taken away. Do you know anything about that, about what happened to Mao's father and also the father of Nak? No.
Answer: no, I don't. I do not know when they were taken away. Later on, I learned that they had been taken away.
By the way, did you ever hear of a woman who was hit by a truck in your village and died during the Khmer Rouge time? If no, just say so. If you don't know, that's fine.
Answer: yes, I do. Mao's mother was hit by a truck in Province when she was going to find rice to eat.
Okay, thank you very much. Did you know a person from your village named Sam Ru?
Samro.
I know Samru. Now today he is deceased.
Now, I'd like to get your reaction to what he said. He said in his statement, E35246, in Khmer at 00225367, and in French at 00228820, and in English at 002341111. He told an investigator that he was asked if he could describe the Vietnamese families that he knew. And he answered, they killed those connected to the Vietnamese and those connected to Sao Pim. In the beginning, they had killed those connected to Lon Nol and Sihanouk, the officials of the old government. One man named Nhang had a wife named Yuan, and the wife was taken to be killed. The children were also arrested but escaped. First of all, do you have any reaction to what, based on your experiences, to what Sam Ru says that they killed the Vietnamese after first killing all those connected to Lon Nol, Sihanouk, and those connected to Sao Pim? What did you see and hear in your village?
Answer: I do not know about the matter since I had many tasks to do. When I was assigned to transplant rice, I would go away and perform the tasks. Sometimes I was assigned to paddle the water wheel, make the fermented fish, and also make the smoked fish. So I did not know other matters other than my duties.
And, okay, thank you. Sam Ru also mentions in the next sentence that in another family in which the husband Tao was mixed Chinese Vietnamese and the wife Ruan was Khmer, the husband and children were taken to be killed, but one child is still alive. Do you know anything about that?
Answer: can you mention the name of the father again? What is his name? Chow? If Tao or Chow? There is one child who is surviving in the period. co-prosecutor Tao witness. The child of Tao survived the period. And father of Tao had been sent away and killed, and I was told that he was sent to work elsewhere.
The father of Tao, do you know his ethnicity? The one who was killed?
Answer. His name was Hein. The father of Hein was ethnically Chinese, and the mother was Vietnamese.
Thank you. Do you know a monk by the name of
Long hair.
Long hair, said co-prosecutor.
Do you know this person?
Answer, yes, I do. He is deceased. Before, he lived in Barai Pagoda.
And do you know a Chamkar Koi village?
Chamka Kui.
Chamka Kui, said the co-prosecutor. Answer. I have heard of the name, but I do not know where it is.
He says that in his statement, which is E3 5251, Khmer 00233-287, French 00251000, and in English it is 00235495. He said that when he got to Chamkarkoi village, that they were asking occupations and selecting people. Those who said they were Lon Nol soldiers were taken away to study. Did you see anything like that happen in your village after 1975?
Mr. President.
President, please hold on, Madam Witness. You have the floor now, Mr. Cooper.
I was wondering whatever happened to asking open questions. Prosecution can just ask the witness first, does she know anything about the treatment of Lon Nol soldiers? Does she know anything that happened in a particular village? Does she know whether anything happened to a particular person? But not reading out of the blue excerpts from statements. Open questions first, and then, if necessary, closed questions. I thought that we all agreed on that.
Your Honors, I think on this question, counsel is absolutely correct, and it's a fair objection. Madam Witness, do you know if in the Khmer Rouge time, after April 1975, were people sorted, were they selected out by occupations in your village or the areas that you knew?
Answer. They were not sorted out. However, they were sent to different directions to work in the agricultural tasks.
Did you know any former Lon Nol officials or officers in the Lon Nol army who were in your village or in your area?
Answer. No one was a former soldier within the former regime.
Thank you. And just while I'm discussing this, Your own husband's occupation during the Khmer Rouge time, what did he do?
Answer. My husband was involved in the social affairs within the village, and later on he went to work in the Piem Ro.
Was he ever a soldier?
Answer. He had never been a soldier. However, before the regime, he had been selected to be a soldier.
Okay. Now, going back to Lang Hel, the monk who passed away, Long Hel, do you know what happened to his wife and children during the 1975 to 79 period?
Answer. This is what I have heard of, not what I witnessed. The wife and 3 children of Long Hell were taken away and killed. I did not witness the incident. As I said, I have heard of it.
Thank you. Do you know the ethnicity of the wife who was taken away and killed with her children?
Answer. I do not know on this point. I have heard that they were taken away. I do not know her background.
Okay. So from the page of the statement I just read out, but moving one page down in Khmer, the same page in Khmer, but at the bottom, I want to read this and see if it refreshes your recollection. Long Hel said that his wife's name was Cam Now. He said her father was pure ethnic Khmer, her mother was mixed race Vietnamese. Do you know does that refresh your recollection at all? If not, just say you don't know.
Answer. I do not know his background. He lived in Prechray village. Before the time, he had been living in Phnom Penh. Later on, he had been evacuated to my village. I said I do not know his background.
He talks about his wife and children being taken away one day in 1978. And he says when he got to the vicinity of Krasal Pa'al, he met his wife and children. There were 4 children, and his wife was pregnant. Do you know anything about whether or not Lang Hel's wife was pregnant when she disappeared?
Answer. Yes. She was pregnant, and it was almost her due date, and she went with 4 children altogether.
Do you know where Bare village is?
Barai, Phum Barai.
Barai village, said the co-prosecutor.
Do you know that village?
Answer. Yes, I do. It is near Prey Veng province.
Did you ever hear anything about how Vietnamese were treated in that village during the DK regime?
Mr. President.
President, please hold on, Madam Witness. You have the floor now, Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is such a general question. 1975, 1976, 1977, all the way until the fall of 77, there was a completely different situation. Then Vietnamese troops massively invaded the country, withdrew in January 78. Then, in our view, Vietnam initiated rebellion, started under the leadership of Sao Pim. There was internal fighting going on. There was a war going on. So asking the question, how were the Vietnamese treated in the period 75-79 is such a general question, let alone whether this witness can answer this particular question from her own experience. So I think we really should the prosecution should really focus much more in detail rather than asking very general sweeping questions.
Your Honor, I'm asking a wide open question as counsel suggested. Of course, I'm not going into the whole history. For example, the Khmer Rouge invasions and atrocities committed across the border in Vietnam. I'm not bringing that up, those that provoked various other measures. I'm asking her a wide open question if she knows how Vietnamese people were treated in that village, which is what counsel had asked me to do 5 minutes ago.
President, the objection or observation by the defense counsel, Mr. Cooper, is overruled. Madam Witness, please respond to the question put by the international co-prosecutor if you recall it. And if you do not recall the question, you may ask the co-prosecutor to repeat the question. Witness, please repeat your question.
Okay, in the interest of time, I'll make it more specific. I hope the defense doesn't accuse me of leading. Do you know have you heard whether people of Vietnamese descent were killed in Ba Rai village during the DK regime?
Answer, I do not know about that since that village was situated a bit far away from mine.
In his statement, Lang Hel, the same statement I've read from before, but 1 page additional in all languages, he indicates that he heard that the white-complected villagers of Ba Rai village, like the children of Ta Son and Ye Theng, had been accused of being Vietnamese and had been taken away and killed. And my colleague will correct my pronunciations.
Ta
Son and Ye Theng, said co-prosecutor.
Did you ever hear anything about that? If not, just tell us you don't know.
Answer. President, please wait, Madam Witness. You have the floor now. Counsel for Mr. Kieu Sampon.
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
Yes, Mr. President, I have not objected thus far, but what the international co-prosecutor is doing is to link transcripts of witnesses other than this one in the transcript. Given the witness's previous answer, the question put to her by the prosecutor is not relevant. She has said that Barai village was far and she doesn't know what happened. And so there's no point in feeding her with information from statements that she cannot confirm, since she says she doesn't know what happened.
Your Honor, I would just point out that I've seen it done on both sides quite often, where a witness is then asked, does this refresh your recollection? She said it was far off, and it obviously is a long time ago. And I've just asked her if what I read to her, she has any recollection of it. And I've encouraged her to tell us if she does not. I'm not trying to put words in her mouth.
President, the objection by the defense team for Mr. Kesavon is overruled. Madam Witness, please give the response to the last question put by the international co-prosecutor, if you recall it. Witness, I cannot recall your question, Mr. Co-prosecutor, and I do not know about the point you mentioned.
Okay, I'll take that your answer as meaning you don't know. Thank you, that's fine. Thank you for your answer. So I'm going to move on. Did you know a man, or do you know a man, named Kun Mon?
Kun Mom.
Kun Mom, said co-prosecutor.
Kun Mon.
Who was married to a woman of Chinese and Vietnamese descent.
Say who?
Say it again, maybe.
គាត់រៀបការជាមួយប្រពន្ធគាត់
He got married with the wife named Saint Hua.
ឈ្មោះមុននៅភូមិស្វាយ
Witness. His name was Mon, living in Swayanto district, and he married a woman in Tri. Her name is Saint. And I know that the person was mixed race, Chinese and Vietnamese.
Do you know what happened to this mixed race woman and her siblings?
Answer, I do not know about that. Since some people went to live in Swayanto and Drum, and we parted each other.
Let me pause for a moment from reading these statements and ask you that your mother, when she disappeared, was she part of any rebellion?
Answer, no, she was not part of any rebellion. She was quite old at the time. She was merely an ordinary citizen. After I was born, I noticed that my mother had no relatives or siblings related to Vietnam, and she also had no relative or sibling living in Phnom Penh.
The other names that we've mentioned, we've talked about various people who were part Vietnamese or Vietnamese who disappeared during the regime. Do you know if any of them were soldiers or persons who were engaged in a rebellion?
President, you have the floor now, Mr. Gope.
An observation, if you allow me, Mr. President. Again, there was a fully fledged war going on at that time with Vietnam. the mere arrest or detention of people who were perceived to be Vietnamese is not necessarily unlawful. May I remind the prosecution that the country that he is from interned and detained every single Japanese person in 1941. So what is relevant is not the detention itself, but the question whether unlawful killings subsequently happened. And that is what we should focus on, not whether there were arrests or whether her mother was part of the rebellion, or the central issue is what happened in respect of the war that the chamber, by the way, itself has established was going on even since April '75.
Thank you, Your Honors. I would ask that I be given some additional time to respond to very long speaking statements or observations rather than objections. I asked her a simple question that obviously is relevant to what counsel had pointed out. And let me make one point since counsel put this. I believe that the detention of people based on their ethnicity is without them proof that they are a clear and present danger is a violation of international law. Is the defense saying it is not? I'm not sure if that's the position of Nuon Chea. Is the position of Nuon Chea that they can arrest people simply based on their ethnicity of being Vietnamese?
President, Madam Witness, please respond to the question.
នៅភូមិខ្ញុំ
Answer: There was no rebellion within my village. There was no any movement related to Vietnam. President, international co-prosecutor, you can reformulate your question. I do not know whether this witness responded to your question you just put a while ago.
Your Honor, I do feel that she did respond to my question. I'm satisfied with her response. It's 4 o'clock. If Your Honor wishes to break, this would be a good point.
President, thank you. Now it is time for the adjournment. The chamber will adjourn now, and the hearing will resume on Monday, 7 December 2015 at 9 a.m. On Monday, the chamber will continue hearing the testimony of witness Sao Sa, and perhaps we may continue to hear 2 TCW 241 concerning the treatment of targeted groups, particularly Vietnamese. Thank you, Madam Sao Sa. The hearing of the testimony of your testimony as a witness has not come to a conclusion yet. You are therefore invited to be here once again on Monday, 7 December 2015 at 9 a.m. Court officer, please work with the West unit to send Madame Sao Sa to the place where she is staying right now, and please invite her into the courtroom again on Monday, 7 December 2015 at 9 a.m. Security personnel, please send the 2 accused back to the detention facility and have them returned on Monday, 7 December 2015 before 9 a.m. The court is now adjourned.